Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, Saints Row the Third Remastered for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Now, as by the title, this is the remastered version of the 2011 third game in the Saints Row franchise. Arguably the best. For me, it's Saints Row 2, but for many others, Saints Row the Third or Saints Row 3 was the creme de la creme of Saints Row games, as it moved away further from being a quote-unquote Grand Theft Auto clone and embraced the absurdity, the wackiness, the craziness of an open-world environment where you can go around, shoot people, beat people with adult-oriented toys, and even throw farts in a jar. The story picks up right where the second game left off. For those who do not know, you start off as a low-end street punk saved by this crew known as the Saints that is an organized gang unit. By Saints Row the Third, they go from an organized gang unit that is running throughout Stillwater to one of the biggest media personalities there is in the entire world, and that goes into the new town of Steelport. Now, this is, even though it promoted a lot of hilarity, a lot of humor, a lot of wackiness and zaniness, and there is a lot of it in this game, a majority of the game is rooted in that open world sandbox style gameplay that you've seen so many times in the past. You go through each mission, shoot up a bunch of people, potentially hijack a car or a plane or something else, watch a cutscene, and go on to the next one. One of the things that always made Saints Row stand out was its imaginative side missions, the ability to gain a bunch of money doing insurance fraud by jumping into incoming vehicles and ragdolling around, going through the game show with Mr. Genki, which of course includes shooting a bunch of mascotted people, and even some of the more frustrating side missions like Hella Assault, where you're driving around in a helicopter trying to shoot down any enemies that is coming in the vicinity of your homies. The thing that makes Saints Row the Third Remastered so special isn't just the fact that it is a remaster of a game from 2011 with better graphics, mostly, especially when it comes to the vehicles. Maybe not necessarily the characters, because the characters, as cartoony as they looked in the original game, kind of look a little weird now. A lot of the environment looks a lot more realistic, but they still look very cartoonish. But the thing that really makes this remastered package so great is the fact that it comes with all of the DLC, the expansive amount of DLC that was put out for Saints Row the Third, be it the Genki Brawl or even some of the more absurd space adventures that all were available in DLC form. Now, instead of having to buy each piece like we had to do in 2011 and 2012, you can get the entire package. But for all the praise that is associated with this remaster, there are some glaring flaws. On a minor note, and this is more of a preference thing, this is more of a situation where we've evolved as gamers since 2011, the inability to change the control scheme is definitely a problem in this game. There have been many changes when it comes to third and first person shooters when it comes to the control schemes since 2011, and Saints Row the Third has some weird controls, like sprinting by hitting the L1 or the left bumper button instead of clicking the left analog stick, or the weapon wheel being associated with the circle or the B button depending on what system you're playing on. Those kind of things just feel so out of the ordinary now. But the biggest issue when it comes to Saints Row the Third Remastered is the fact that the optimization is actually very poor. On the PS4, there was an 18, almost 19 gigabyte day one patch associated with this game. So I just assumed that I could play the game a little bit. It's going to be a little buggy, it's going to stutter a little bit, and play the game until the download finishes, and then I'll install the patch and see what kind of differences there are. Unfortunately, the game started so badly during the first two missions that I had to give up, and I just waited for the patch to download. And then when the patch downloaded, there was still a lot of stuttering. There was still incredible frame rate drops. I mean, absurd, to the point that the frame rate would actually go to 0. Interestingly enough, when I was attached to the internet, the game stuttered like crazy, even though I'm playing by myself. And then when I disconnected from the internet, it worked very smoothly. So for some reason, playing this game while connected to the internet is actually a very big hindrance. Overall, the game as a package, as a deal, especially for those who want to relive the days of 2011, who want to relive the adventures of the Saints in Steelport for the first time in Saints Row the Third. This is a must-buy package. If there weren't these technical issues, that's the biggest knock on this game. I can love a game, it can provide everything I want, but if it technically cannot work, be consistent, and be reliable, I cannot fully and wholeheartedly recommend it. If there are fixes for the crashes and the frame rate drops, I say pick it up as soon as possible. But if not, if these never come to fruition, if this game is never technically improved upon, I say skip it. So there you have it. This has been Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. Saints Row the Third Remastered for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Now if you don't mind, the game is running a little smoothly now, so I can go into Steelport. I can maybe run around the town, act a fool, and if I have a chance to take on Professor Genki, he will have no choice but to say, "Oh Lordy."